Okay, my helicopter just dropped me right here on the middle of Gellert Hill in Budapest, Hungary. Just kidding. We actually took a plane and had 2 stops coming from Krakow, but here we are in one of my favorite cities in Europe. On this side you can see Pest and several of the beautiful monuments, including St. Stephen's Basilica. You can see the Ferris wheel, which they call the Budapest Eye. You can see Parliament, which is probably the most beautiful parliament in the world, arguably. On my right side is Buda. So that's why it's called Budapest, and you can see the Buda Palace and Castle separated by the world-famous Danube River. So, love Hungary, love Budapest, but we've been here a couple days now and everything is under construction. So is this a good time to come to Budapest, Hungary? We're gonna find out. We're gonna look at what's under construction and what's not, and if it's still worth it to visit right now. Right now, the Liberty statue, completely closed. Opera, completely closed, you can't even see it. Széchenyi Chain Bridge, completely closed, you can't see anything. Nyugati Pályaudvar, which is a beautiful turn-of-the-century train station, can't see anything, and 2 of the subway lines down. So we're thinking if this is like the trip of a lifetime and you want to come to Budapest now, probably not the best time. But we'll go take a look so you can decide for ourselves what is closed and what is still fabulous in Budapest, Hungary. I love the fall. I love the fall anywhere, but I really love the fall in Europe. Actually, I don't love the fall anywhere. I don't like it in Los Angeles. I like it in Europe and the Midwest. Leaves are falling as we're speaking. It really couldn't get any more cinematic of a day. We're in October and it's just beautiful weather. We've got a wonderful day, so we really struck it rich on this one for shooting. Let's hope we get some good shots for you. Citadella, closed. So this right here is one of the most famous thermal baths. That's what it is in Hungarian. Gyógyfürdő is thermal bath. So it's a hotel and a thermal bath from the turn of the century. We'll take you inside in a later video.
Have a good day. Have a good day.
So this is one of your favorite drinks in Eastern Europe so far, right? The hot wine?
Oh my god, yes. I love
All right.
hot wine so freaking badly. And especially on a chilly day, which is getting a little bit chilly, this is just perfect.
Okay,
and
try it. Just what you needed?
Yes, just what I needed. It's got that little spice flavor to it, like cinnamon and cloves and a little bit of orange I can taste, and it's just wonderful.
And how do you say it in Hungarian?
Yeah. Now you know. 4 at 4. Let's go.
So here we are on the Buda side of Budapest, and behind me you can see a beautiful church. It's actually one of the Reformed churches or Calvinist churches in Budapest. The reason, not only is it very beautiful architecturally, it's actually very beautiful for a Calvinist church, and it's a very interesting part of the history here in Budapest and Hungary. Because you have to remember that although it might not seem like it's the attitude today, Hungary was a very diverse empire. And it had people from all of the major religions. Obviously it was occupied by the Turks and was Muslim for a while, but even after that it had a huge Jewish community, it had a huge Catholic community, and it also had huge groups of Protestants that were very prominent. One of them were the Lutherans, we'll see their church later, and this was the Calvinist church. So unlike many cities in Europe, it was very diverse religiously and has a strong representation of Protestantism. So the Protestants in Hungary were definitely not messing around. Look at this church.
Hello guys, this afternoon I'm on my way to the Great Market Hall. This beautiful site here in Budapest. This is the biggest and oldest indoor market here in Hungary. And so I'm hungry, so I'm gonna search for something to eat there. There's tons of great stuff over there, from fresh food to produce and meats and cheeses and all things Hungarian. So I'm sure I'm gonna find something great. Just to let you know how I got here, I took a bus directly from Andrassy Avenue, which is where we're staying at our Airbnb. And you know, just so you know, there's a lot of construction going on here in Budapest at this moment. This is not the exact spot that I was supposed to get off. I'm actually on Elizabeth Bridge. So took a bit of a detour on that bus, but it's okay. It's probably like a 10-minute walk from here. Not bad on this really nice sunny day today. And so yeah, let's come along and let's see what we find. So let's see what we're gonna find in here. I am looking for something very traditional Hungarian. I'm hungry and there's lots of temptation. So let's take a little tour in there. This place is really huge and it resembles an old train station. It's really beautiful. Maybe a train station from like 30s or 40s. It's really nice. Down here, there's two levels. And down here, apparently, mostly you'll find produce, vegetables, fruits, cheeses, lots of meats, and lots of paprika, for sure. So we're gonna head upstairs and try to find something traditional Hungarian to eat. Of course, I couldn't stop here and not get goulash soup, which is the most traditional and famous Hungarian dish. This is basically like a soup slash stew of chunks of meat, vegetables. This one has carrots, potatoes, and celery, and of course, lots of paprika. Definitely eating more than I should. I went ahead and got a langosh, which is another one of those traditional street food kind of type of foods here in Hungary. And it's basically a cross between a pizza and a donut. I know, and not watching my carbs today. With lots of different toppings. The traditional one supposedly is only sour cream and cheese. This is a lot of food, but I'm just trying different things. So let's dig in. Alright guys, that was a very tasty lunch, super delicious, especially that goulash soup was really flavorful and very home tasting, very homemade kind of dish. I must say it is not the cheapest place to get this kind of food. It's definitely a little bit pricey, but you know, you are in the central market and you know, it's basically a tourist attraction. So keep that in mind. The goulash soup was about $6 and the langosh was a little bit over $8. So, you know, definitely not the cheapest lunch, but very tasty. And of course, in a place like this is what you pay for, the place.
Okay, so here I am standing in one of the most iconic spots in Budapest and really in all of Hungary, and it's still open. This is the Hungarian Parliament. Soak it in. It's one of the most beautiful things in the city and in all of Europe. It's very well visited. So the Hungarian Parliament is neo-Gothic. It was built in 1902, not in Gothic times. Why was it built in 1902? Remember, Budapest was a really big deal in 1902. It was a co-capital of the vast Austro-Hungarian Empire. This was the heyday of Budapest and Hungary. That's why this parliament, which is one of the most photographed architectural works in all of Europe, is right here on the Danube in Budapest. So I'm a little bit annoyed. In Hungary, compared to Poland, almost nobody, well, less than half people wear masks on public transit. And my biggest pet peeve is when you don't wear a mask and you're sick. I don't care if you have COVID or you have the flu. So I'm sitting with my mask on the subway and a girl just sneezed all over my hand. Like it hit my hand. This is the kind of annoying shit I'm sure I'd be dealing with in any city, but can we at least like wear a mask if you're sick and sniffling and snotting over people? Okay, so now we're on the same side of the river as Parliament. It's a really beautiful, well-done square. It's called Kossuth Lajos tér. Not that you'll remember that in English, but look at how great it is. This is the back side of Parliament, beautiful statue, and then you look across the river to the palace. It's one of the things I love so much about being in Budapest as a digital nomad and living and working from here. You can take an hour break from your work and stroll past a building like this, or stroll along the Danube. It's just, there's all kinds of breathtaking sights that you can incorporate into your mundane life. So like I've said before, one of my favorite things about traveling in Eastern and Central Europe is that I feel like the light and the darkness are so close together. Just like today at sunset, we have the light going down and the darkness coming. And it's really embodied in the history of this area, as you're about to see at this current monument, which is called Shoes on the Danube. It's basically a permanent replica of shoes of Jewish people who couldn't be shipped away to the concentration camps fast enough. So they were brought to the river and shot into the river. So I might get a little bit of the story wrong, but I'm going to do my best. Basically what happened was that Hungary was on the side of the Germans in World War II, so it wasn't necessarily occupied by Hitler's Germany. They didn't have to strictly follow all of his policies. So it wasn't until the end of the war, where Hungary kind of started to flip-flop, or Germany was a little bit suspicious, that they pretty much took over and made sure to institute all of their own policies here in Hungary. By that point, it was 1944, getting close to 1945, and there were still a sizable amount of Jews living here in Budapest. About a quarter of the population were Jewish before World War II. There wasn't a lot of time to do what the Nazis and collaborators had done in other countries to get rid of all the Jewish people, so this was kind of a haphazard thing, and this was one of the results. Because they couldn't be shipped out fast enough, some of them were brought to the river and just shot and dumped into the river. The interesting thing about what happened here in Budapest is that it's one of the cities in Europe that had such a large Jewish population with a fairly decent amount of survivors, because up until such a late point it wasn't subject to those strict Nazi laws. So there's a good side to the haphazard ending. Not as many were killed and exterminated as they were in other Eastern European cities. okay, sorry. One more thing. One more reason why you may not want to come to Budapest right now. It can be really freaking hard and frustrating to eat at a restaurant. And I'm talking, yes, the food would be good, but $15 restaurant. Not necessarily the nicest restaurant in town, but a good place. Here we are at a restaurant that we ate at once. It was good, it was a good price. It's on a main boulevard. It says that it's open on Sunday. It's Sunday, it's not open. Who knows why they closed? Maybe somebody in there got COVID, but they don't tell you. Not only do they not tell you why it's closed, but they don't even say that it's closed. You just gotta have to guess and show up and find out that there's nobody in there. But it's not the only place that this happened at, and it's also really, really difficult right now to make reservations at some places. There was one restaurant we called Comme Chez Soi. They are only taking reservations in the next calendar year. And 2 other places said it can take 2 to 3 weeks to get in. So if you're looking to have an easy time getting into restaurants, not in Budapest right now. Oh. Goat cheese. Goat cheese. So we decided to come to a place near the opera called Sericen. Both our starters and our main dishes are wonderful. I got the mangalitsa shoulder, which is a special cut of pork. And ratatouille. Oh, the food here in Hungary and in Eastern Europe. Oh, love it. Israel got duck breast with potatoes with a goat cheese cream sauce, and I've been picking off his plate the entire time. Goat cheese. Oh. I love it. Don't you love it?
Yeah, love it.
The food is great. This was $15 and that was $15. Sorry for talking with my mouth open. Alright, thank you so much for watching. This has been another episode of Nomadic and Travels. We appreciate it. If you liked it, please click subscribe, because that's what bumps us up, and it also will keep you in the loop. And if you click the notification bell also, that helps us a lot too. And it also just sends you an email basically every time we have a new video.
So we'll see you guys next Saturday.